Trippie Red. Matching Music came out last month, but didn't get around to it. A lot of people been kind of asking for it, and said why not? Got a slower week, so we'll check it out. Trippie was definitely one of the artists who was kind of ordained when he first kind of blew up on the scene to be like one of the next big stars in the line of like Lil Uzi, Triple X, XXXTentacion, Kodak Black. A lot of people were kind of in that SoundCloud era, even like Tekashi 69, who he had that relationship with, and I feel like he kind of hit a ceiling. He had a few really big songs. He definitely had momentum and a strong fan base growing, but I feel like over the last few years it's kind of stalled out. His name isn't nearly as buzzing as it used to be, even though I'm sure there's some of the stuff I heard, he's put out some pretty decent stuff. I think he's also kind of fallen to the victim of putting out too much music, being too available, too present. Like when you're just constantly putting out stuff, it kind of loses its allure, its appeal, whether it's good or not. And yeah, I feel like he's kind of stalled out a little bit in his career, in his place in the game, but he's still here, still putting out music pretty regularly. And as you can see, he still tapped a lot of like really big name artists. And I'm not sure if that's worked out the best for him, because I haven't really heard people talking about his album all that much since it dropped. But he still got some appeal, he still got some pull, and I should just see kind of if he continues the same sound and route that he's been on for the last 5 years or so, or if he kind of switched things up. But like I said, Mansion Music, Trippie Red, out now, got a lot of features, so let's just hop right into one of them, ATLANTIS featuring Chief Keef. I mean, the beat is super tough. It's knocking for sure. Like that's a tough beat. Crazy drums, crazy bass. But he's saying the same shit. He's saying the same shit he's been saying for like years now. He doesn't really have a whole lot of range lyrically, and it's showing right away. ATLANTIS was okay. Beat was alright, if not a bit repetitive. 4 minutes is a lot for a beat that doesn't change up or have any like variety to it whatsoever. But beat was okay. Lyricism was below average. Chief Keef's part was okay. Yeah, it's just kind of a lot more of the same so far. Like I said, but let's check out Psycho, see if it picks up feature. I mean, again, the beat's okay. I mean, it goes hard. Got knocking bass. It's just a bit repetitive. 4.5 minutes of this is, come on, like no change ups, no beat changes, no bridges, no breakdowns, just the same beat over and over right now. And it's not that much different than ATLANTIS beats, to be honest. And if anything, it feels like a kind of future throwaway track that we had on like one of his earlier mixtapes, and it feels dated. It definitely feels dated. Yeah, I can't 2 more minutes of that. Same.
Derivative.
He's got another one with the Future, this time with Lil Baby. Go to Fully Loaded. Just another one, man. It just feels like another nondescript song that almost any artist could or would put out. If you're gonna be this repetitive with the production, songwriting, choruses, hooks, you gotta keep these songs much shorter, because the production isn't crazy where you need to hear it for like 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 3 minutes even. So far it's definitely feeling like most of his guest features, even though they are big names, have phoned in a lot of this. That's definitely how it's feeling. But hopefully things can pick up. Let's go to Nightcrawler featuring Juice WRLD. I know this is a highly talked about track, obviously because Juice WRLD is another artist that we lost when they were incredibly young, far too young, for just the worst possible reasons. But hopefully he can bring something to this. Nightcrawler. I will say, Juice WRLD was an incredibly talented artist. While I didn't love all of the songs, I feel like he was putting out a lot of just kind of throwaway stuff at some point. I do think out of a lot of the young artists, he had some of the highest potential, so it was a huge loss. And you could tell right away from this song that he's just on a different level than Trippie is himself, even though Trippie came out and blew up much sooner than Juice WRLD did. I just think that he's kind of a one-note artist, and Juice WRLD actually, so far, the sound, the vocals is adding a lot to this track. I'm digging this one probably the most right now. Okay, that's the one. That's what I was talking about. That's what we needed. Having Juice WRLD on there definitely added a lot to the song. He carried it for the most part, even though Trippie had a nice little second verse there. Production was still pretty repetitive, but it was, I think, doing a lot more sonically than other ones, and I think I just had a lot more going on, a lot more movement in the soundscape, so it was definitely, you know, a lot easier to listen through for, you know, the amount of time that I was playing. That was enjoyable. Nightcrawler is probably my favorite track so far. Let's go to Dark Brotherhood featuring Lil Baby. Sheesh. Lil Baby, man, he never disappoints. Absolutely never disappoints. He always comes through. Carries most tracks he's on. Flows like crazy on there. I don't always, you know, I don't think he always got the best verse, best bars, but his flow is crazy, man. And there's a reason why he's one of the biggest artists out there right now, and did his thing on that one. Okay, 2 songs I've finally liked so far. Let's see if we can make it through. Crazy Train featuring Travis Scott. I mean, previously he did have a song with Travis Scott called Dark Knight Gummo, one of those. That probably my favorite Trippie Red song that he's put out so far. So let's see if he can kind of recreate that magic. I mean, you definitely see Travis Scott popping out a lot more these days, over the past, you know, couple weeks, months. He did have a full album already completed before you know what happened, so he might be back outside here soon, so we'll see. It was decent. Didn't blow me away. Definitely doesn't live up to their previous collaboration between him and Travis Scott, but it was decent. And I was also hoping with a name like Crazy Train, you'd go a little bit harder instead of giving me such a very generic guitar riff. But it is what it is. Let's go to the next one featuring Lil Durk, Muscles. Durk definitely been on a tear. Like I said, he's somebody I didn't really give a lot of credit and props to, but he's starting to earn my my appreciation for who he is as an artist. He's got a incredibly long album that I'm definitely not gonna listen to in its entirety right now. So then I'm gonna skip quite a few of these songs, but I'm gonna do like 4 more. I got like 4 more in me, but this is just, come on, 25 songs. What are we doing? Go to Goodfellas. Nardo Wick, still one of the most unique voices in hip hop right now. Kind of reminds me like when 21 Savage first came in, kind of just straight talking instead of like rapping, but somehow works. And also whispering, basically, like bringing back the Yang Twins whisper song, if you're old enough to remember that. But like I said, this is just entirely too many songs. I only got like 3 more in me, so I'm just gonna do the last 3 because I'm interested to see what these guest features do. Let's go to None featuring the Baby, who has not been having the best time musically in his career as of late. Yeah, he went from one of the hottest names and artists out to being absolutely relegated to the benches, and some poor decisions will definitely do that to you. Go to None. That was a vibe. Definitely a vibe. More of a low-key vibing track out of the ones that we've heard so far. I enjoy the Baby. I enjoy what the Baby. I enjoy his flow, vocal stylings, raps. He can rap. He can always rap. He does kind of get a bit samey on his own songs, but I mean, he's got enjoyable, verses, voices. It's just, as athletes like to say, his off the court issues have caught up with him, and hopefully, he can find a way through it. But he's definitely going through it right now. Go to Swag Like Ohio Part 2, which is hilarious to see because Little B Swag Like Ohio is an absolutely iconic song for people that were around in the scene around like the early to mid 2000s. There's just nothing like Lil B, and it's it's always super enjoyable to watch people kind of like discover him as the years go by that they didn't know before. It's like a treat that you get every 3 to 5 years, and it seems like a new wave of younger people are discovering Lil B because he is single-handedly the reason why you're seeing all these Ohio jokes in your comments anywhere and everywhere, because of his song Swag Like Ohio, straight up going viral once again, probably like almost 10-15 years later since it originally dropped. But Trippie here is clearly trying to kind of hop on that wave, which not a bad move, and he's bringing maybe Lil B out of retirement with this. All hail Bass God. He is back once again. Trippie Red brought him back, and he sound like he never left. You know what I mean? Like on everything, I think Lil B, Soulja Boy, all of them are like the literal blueprint for a lot of these younger artists that are coming up today. Specifically, artists like Trippie Red. Lil B is the blueprint, and like I said, man, it's always a treat to watch people kind of like discover him for the first time, because those that know there was nothing like him out at the time. There's still really nothing like him. So it's dope. It's dope. It makes me chuckle. Let's go to the last one. Colors featuring Kodak Black. another vibing track. Kodak didn't really do too much on that one. You know, kind of a simple track, but effective. Yeah, that's it. That's about all I got for Trippie Redd's Mention Music tonight. Like I said, we had to skip over probably about like 10, 12 songs. And yet we still covered like over half the album. 25 songs is just entirely too long. I don't care if you were Kendrick, that is entirely too long for an album. Overall, yeah, man, I think it's an okay, decent album. It is very much expected, very much typical of him and the sound and everything that he does and puts out. And he didn't do anything new. Like, this is just kind of his formula, kind of who he is. I just think that we've kind of witnessed and experienced kind of the peak of Trippie Redd. We kind of know who he is and what he is as an artist, and I don't really see him evolving much from what he is now. And I can see him just continue to put out this kind of music for the next couple of years. I don't necessarily think it's like, you know, the highest of quality or top tier, but it's kind of a mid tier, just decent music that you can just throw on at, you know, anytime you kind of feel like, without giving it much thought, because 25 songs, there is clearly no theme, no direction, no kind of, you know, route that he's wanting to go musically. It's just kind of a collection of songs, like a playlist of songs featuring a lot of really big name artists. And even though he has all of these big name artists, I don't really think they do a lot for him personally, musically, album wise. That's all kind of forgettable music for the most part, forgettable verses, and outside of a few exceptions and instances here, Lil B, Bass God being one of them, a lot of this just sounds fairly phoned in and fairly, you know, you pay for a verse, I'll give you a verse, but it's not like we're putting out the craziest music out there today. This is just another kind of filler, throwaway songs that we've gotten from Trippie Redd for a lot of his career. I don't think he's evolved. I don't think he's changed. I don't think he's grown. And I think this is pretty much the ceiling of who he is as an artist. That's not necessarily the worst thing. You know, there is a lane for this, and he clearly still has a fairly significant following because he still pull a lot of big artists and big guests. I just don't think he will ever reach his full potential of what people thought he might have been early on in his career. I think he's been surpassed, and I think he's only going to continue to get passed over by newer, younger, more exciting talent coming up these days in hip hop. I think life comes at you fast as a hip hop artist, and if you don't grow, you don't evolve, you'll be looked over. And I think that's kind of what he's starting to experience in his career. But not a bad album from what I've heard, which was over half of the 25 songs. Just very generic, very throwaway, and if I never heard it again, I wouldn't like be upset by it. But if I heard it again, I also wouldn't be upset by it. It's kind of like the worst place you can be musically is indifferent, and that's basically how I feel about a lot of his catalog, especially this, what I've heard here and Mention Me, just very indifferent. But you guys let us know what you guys think about Mention Music. Are there any songs that I didn't get to that I should definitely check out that might change my mind about this album? Are there any songs that are your favorites? Do you think he's kind of living up to his potential? Do you like where he's headed as an artist? Are you a Trippie Redd fan? Like, who is a true Trippie Redd fan? I've never met somebody who's like, Trippie Redd is my artist. I know people that like him and enjoy stuff that he puts out, but I don't know anybody that's specifically in his core fan base. So if you are one of those, let us know in the comments down below.